Tonight, McGriff, Mags. Watch the swinging from both sides in the South Side. Sox versus Devil Rays. Tonight at 6 on WGN. The following is a presentation of WGN Sports.
There's no need to get all shook up because this is the year for the Sox to shake, rattle, and roll their way through the American League. Tonight we honor the king of rock and roll as the Sox prepare for a wild ride down the road to the playoffs.
Gonna kick on my shoes, roll up my faded jeans, grab my rock and roll, baby, pour on the steam. A shuffle to the left, a shuffle to the right, gonna rock and roll to the other side. Ready, I'm ready to rock and roll.
We are coming to you from Comiskey Park in Chicago, Illinois, where tonight WGN Sports is proud to present White Sox baseball. It's Mags Ordonez, Carlos Lee, the Big Hurt Frank Thomas, and the Chicago White Sox as they get ready to rumble with Fred McGriff, Greg Vaughn, and the Tampa Bay Devil Rays. Hi, everybody, and welcome to the beautiful city of Chicago with a 5-1. Darren Jackson, I'm Ken Harrell. Since we get set to bring you the second of this four-game set. In the opener last night, Sox took it 5-2 behind John Garland's third victory of the season. He had to leave after 5 2/3 after being hit in the right arm by that vicious line drive off the bat of Fred McGriff. And tonight, Sox, well, they have an 8.5-game lead as Cleveland beat Seattle today 10-4 and sending Mike Soroka to the bump.
Yeah, Mr. Tough Luck for the Sox this season. I mean, he has given up 18 unearned runs in 24 starts. Tonight, he's got to somehow get over the fact that if a guy makes a mistake behind him, he's got to suck it up and get it done. If he can do that, he'll stop the bleeding before it starts. So he's got to step up big tonight.
All right, sit back, relax, and strap it down. Game 2 of this four-game set. It'll be Mike Soroka against Albie Lopez, and we'll be back with the rest of the starting lineups right after this.
Oh, whatever he be, oh, let him be your teddy bear. I just want to be your teddy bear.
Chicago White Sox baseball on WGN is brought to you by Miller Lite. Grab a Miller Lite. It's Miller time. Your local Ford store. Quality people, quality products. Clark. When it comes to great gas prices, Clark is the real deal. Your Toyota dealers, leading the way every day. And by Southwest Airlines. Log on for Southwest Airlines low fares at www.southwest.com, a symbol of e-freedom.
Welcome back to Comiskey Park for White Sox baseball, and it's also Elvis night.
I said I'm going away, baby, and I won't be back here for if I find me a good girl, I won't be back at all. Where's the party? Come on.
And right now, let's go to our center field scoreboard for our White Sox Sonata. Chicago White Sox with a record of 73 and 49, 8.5 games in front of the Cleveland Indians. And as they take their positions right now, let's check out the starting lineup. For the Tampa Bay Devil Rays, handed in by their skipper, Larry Rothschild. Leading off in center field, it'll be Gerald Williams. Russ Johnson will hit second. He'll be at the hot corner. DH is Greg Vaughn. Cleanup hitter at first, Fred McGriff. Bobby Smith will be hitting fifth. He'll be the second baseman. John Flaherty doing the catching. Steve Coxon left. Jose Guillen in right. And in the ninth position, the shortstop, Felix Martinez. And the Sox defensively in the outfield have El Caballo, Carlos Lee in left, Chris Singleton in center, Mags Ordonez in right around the horn. Perry, Valentin, Durham, Canerco in the battery of Charles Johnson and the 29-year-old southpaw, Mike Soroka. Knight coming in with that record of 10-10, 4.10. Oh, check that, 4.12 ERA. His 10 victories have come over Oakland, Anaheim, Toronto, Houston, Cubs, Yankees twice, Boston, Milwaukee, and Seattle. And checking out the men in blue tonight behind the plate, Lance Barksdale, Brian Runge at first, Ian Lampew at second, and a guy who called a heck of a ball game last night, John Shulock, over at third. So just prior to the game, there's some skydivers bringing an Old Glory, and it is really windy here. You can see by the flag. These guys did a terrific job. They came from way upstairs. Fans always love to see that here at Comiskey Park. Last time, though, we had 4 of them. They jumped out of that plane. Only 3 of them made it. One landed about 3 or 4 blocks from here.
Yeah, well, we were noticing how these currents come around this ballpark. It is not safe to do it. You can see how one guy can get lost.
So we are just about set for White Sox baseball right here over WGN. So happy you could join us as Gerald Williams slowly makes his way to the plate. D-Rays come in at 52-68, 15 games back in last place in the East. They are hitting at .265 as a club with a 4.89 ERA. This is the 8th meeting of the year between these two teams. In the first 7, the Sox have won 5 of them. So there are the numbers on Williams. 19 homers, 78 RBIs. Those are new career highs for him. And the first pitch of the ball game, fastball, souvenir right side. Here at Comiskey Park, 347 down the lines, 375 in the gaps, and 400 straight away center field. As the count evens at 1. Devil Rays on the road this year are 24-34. At home, they are 28-34. Pretty good pitch. Didn't get it. And the count 2-1. Mike's last outing on the 14th against Baltimore. The first game of that 4-game series at Oriole Park, he had some problems. He was all over the place. His control was not there. Went 3 2/3, give up 7 runs, 4 earned, and 8 hits, 5 walks.
Mike against Baltimore in the season had a lot of trouble, period.
There's a ground ball. A little too hopper down to Herbert. He's got it. Well, if you're just tuning in, did not see the opening, it is Elvis night here at Comiskey Park. Fireworks as well. As we mentioned, a huge crowd on hand. That'll bring up Russ Johnson, the third baseman, hitting at .272, a couple of homers. He's driven in 16. Pinch hit last night. Had himself a base hit, knocked in a run.
Yeah, he got it there. Saw 1 pitch, took 1 swing, got an RBI single.
Gets jammed right there, pops him up. Ray going back, Chris coming on. Singleton taking charge. Makes the catch for out number 2.
Chris got a little bit of a late break on that. Had to come in full speed ahead. Of course, with Chris's speed, that's easy. You can sometimes get a little bit late jump.
You know, this is his second year in the Sox uniform, and it seems like the more we watch him, the faster he gets.
That's to you, at least. I get to see him during the offseason. He can flat fly on a track.
Here's the DH, 35-year-old veteran Greg Vaughn, hitting at .276, 22 homers, 53 driven in. Can't get that one. Yeah, go for 4 last evening. The Rays have had a lot of injuries. A ton of injuries this year. As that's a little bit high, they evens the count at 1. There's a skipper. In the games we have seen, he has made the right moves. And talking to some friends of mine who are scouts that have seen the D-Rays a lot more than we have, they say he is a good manager.
Well, we've seen him at least manage the game very well, and he's getting players in and out of there. And his lineups, I think he's done an outstanding job, especially, like you said, dealing with all the injuries on the season.
Take him right here, Mikey. The 1-2 pitch. Just off the corner. Frank making his 25th start. Turns it over, fouls it back. Soroka in his career has won 40 times. He has lost 42. 1-1 lifetime against Tampa Bay. The 2-2. It's full.
Was mentioning a moment ago how Mike is happy to see Baltimore pass for the season. Hopefully he won't have to go up against it again, because 6 innings, he gave up 15 runs in 2 starts. Only 8 of them earned, though.
Payoff pitch. He got him right on the outside corner. He'll grab some bench, and that'll do it after a half inning of play. It's Tampa Bay nothing, and the good guys coming to bat. No score, bottom of the first. Right now, let's check out the starting lineup, handed in by the skipper, Jerry Manuel, for his White Sox. Leading off at second base, Ray Durham. Jose Valentin, the shortstop. The DH, Big Frank Thomas. Cleanup hitter and right, Mags Ordonez. Paul Konerko at first. Herbert Perry will be at the hot corner. Batting 7th in left field, Carlos Lee. Chris Singleton in center. And batting 9th doing catching, it'll be Charles Johnson. Checking out the D-Ray defense. Cox, Williams, and Guillen in the outfield. Johnson, Martinez, Smith, McGriff around the horn. And the battery of John Flaherty. And the 28-year-old right-hander, Albie Lopez. Albie, a big guy, 6'2", 240, coming in with that 10-8 record. As a starter, he is 8-4. He's making just his 16th start, and this is 37th appearance. He has beaten Anaheim, Seattle, the Fish, Montreal, Detroit, Kansas City, Minnesota. And in his last outing, really pitched well against us. He beat the Sox. So he is 1-0 this year, 2-3 lifetime. And before we show you our picks to click, you at home select yours as Ray Durham gets set to lead it off. Ray at 282. 14 homers, he has driven in 60. 3 for 4 last evening. As he takes down low. And what's he going to feature, Feisty?
He's going to feature fastball, curveball, slider, change, and a split. He's got everything.
A pitch out of play. And the big pitch, they tell us that we saw it last time out. That cutter. We've never seen him with that. He had a good one.
Well, he's thrown 2 straight complete games, 4 on the season. So he's been dealing.
And there's a base hit. So Ray, like last evening, starts it off in fine fashion as Cox quickly gets to it, gets it in. So good speed aboard.
Ray is a totally different hitter when he decides to go the other way and up the middle. That average just starts to climb real quickly, and that's what he's been doing here lately. Not trying to pull everything. He's going up the middle and to the left side. Good results.
Here's Jose on an 8-game hitting streak. Valentin at 284, 21 homers, 74 driven in. And after Ray started off that ball game last evening with that single, Jose took Brian Ricard out of here. You see the curveball, and you can put it on the board. Lopez, for a big guy, has quick feet over to first. So Valentin just 3 away from tying his career high in homers.
He's still 20 RBIs shy of his career high, 94.
There's a bunt. And Lopez cannot come up with it. So the first 2 men aboard here in the bottom of the first inning.
And that's going to be a base hit. Nobody was over at first base covering anyway, so Lopez comes up with that. He has no one to go to. You see Fred McGriff right there.
So here's Big Frank. Frank at 336, 37 homers, 111 driven in. Frank 5 for 16 lifetime against Lopez, and the 5 hits, 4 of them have stayed in the park. That ball hit in the left field off the end of the bat. Steve Cox is there. Ray is tagging. Fakes. He's not coming, and that's out number 1. And right now, let's check out our picks to click. Phil Moore, Skip Ellison, director and crew. Valentin. DJ's going with Charles Johnson, and Tyson Woods, my buddy down in Orlando, Florida, who's 12 years old today. Tyson and I are going to go with the man coming up to the plate right now, Mags Ordonez. Happy birthday, Tyson. That's down low. Mags at 338, 25 long ones and 99 driven in. He's had some problems against Lopez. 12 at bats, has just 2 hits. There's a base hit. Here comes RBI number 100 for Mags, and the Sox lead it 1-0.
That way, Maglio. 2 straight years, Maglio with over 100 RBIs. That being his 100th last season at 117. A good short line drive swing, not trying to do too much with it.
So here's Konerko. Probably been scuffling. Hitting at 297, 14 homers, 72 driven in. 0 for 4 last evening, and 2 for 5 lifetime off Lopez. Takes first pitch strike.
Well, that's funny to say. Paulie's been struggling, still hitting it 297. But you and I know what he's capable of really doing, so we know he's a little off.
Watch out. Lopez almost threw that one into center field. Three finals in the American League, as we mentioned. At the top, Cleveland beat Seattle 10-4 at Jacobs Field. Yankees over the Angels 9-1 in the Bronx, and Pedro at Fenway Park shut out Texas 9-0. Checks it up. 1-1 to count. Top of the 9th at Skydome. Minnesota leading the Blue Jays 5-1. Bottom of the 6th in Detroit. Tigers leading Oakland 4-1. Later on, Kansas City at Baltimore. Come on, Paulie, bust out of it. And the count 2-1. Well, you just brought up an interesting point when you were talking about Albie Lopez. He's trying for his 3rd straight complete game. He has 4 of them this season, and this is just his 16th start. It'll be interesting to see, because that's just not done too much nowadays.
Well, it appears that Lopez has got something going. I mean, he must obviously feel, and Larry Rothschild along with him, that as a starter, because he's come out of that bullpen too, that he likes to go deep into a game. He's obviously finished some off. He's had 15 starts, 4 complete games. That's going to top our staff. I mean, that's doing a good job.
Well, they tell us that's his mentality. He wants to finish off everything he starts. Pretty good quality. There's a chopper taking Martinez right to the bag, and there's the double play. Let the Sox get on the board, and after 1, they lead it 1-0. Mags Ordonez with that base hit knocks in his 100th ribby as the Sox lead at 1-0 here in the top of the 2nd. It'll be McGriff, Smith, and Flaherty to face Mike Soroka. Freddie hitting at 278, 20 homers, 85 driven in, takes curveball. 1-0. We had 0 for 3 last night. 1 for 5 lifetime against Mike. And he's got a 2-0 count. A couple of finals over in the National League. Cincinnati at home against Pittsburgh. It was 7-1 Reds. Dodgers at home against the Mets. LA wins at 4-1. Fouls that one back. Bottom of the 8th at Pac Bell Park. Giants leading Atlanta 11-3. Giants won the first game of that series last night 2-0. Other action will show Milwaukee at Houston. Colorado hosting Florida. Phillies taking on the Cardinals in St. Louis. Boy, what a comeback the Cardinals made. Win that game last night, 7-6. That's popped up. Carlos Lee. One down. Montreal will be at San Diego, and Arizona at home hosting the Cubs. As he's talking to Miguel Cairo. He'll hold some court now, the judge.
Yeah, Ozzie is never at a loss for words.
13 years in a White Sox uniform. A real nice little piece on the scoreboard last night. Split screen with Ozzie and Harold Baines. Two very dear friends. Bobby Smith rips that one right back through the middle, so you can cancel a post-game show. Bobby was hitting .311 coming in. 3 homers, 14 RBIs. Now 3 for 6 lifetime off Mike. As that'll bring up the catcher, John Flaherty. In the finale of that series down at Tropicana Field, Flaherty, last time we saw him, had one of the best at-bats we have seen a guy have in a long time. Fouled off pitch after pitch after pitch after pitch against Bobby Howard, before finally hitting a 3-run homer to win the ball game. Konerko. Two out. So with 2 down, that'll bring up the left fielder, Steve Cox, at .292, 8 homers, 25 RBIs. 2 for 4 last evening. First time he has faced Mike. Curveball, yes. There's Lance Barksdale.
Cox coming in hitting .259 versus left-handers on the season.
I like this guy.
Oh, he's got a nice swing.
I like Cox, and I also like Aubrey Huff.
Both of them look like they've got some good power.
Smith, 1 for 1 in stolen bases. Just makes a little fake.
And Bobby Smith, he doesn't have a whole lot of playing time on the season. He only came in with, that was his 75th at bat on the year. Mostly plays third base. Getting a chance to play second lately, and they said he really turns a double play well.
Good pitch by Mike. Fouls it over the Tampa Bay dugout. Nice catch right there. One and 2 the count. Well, D-Rays have got themselves in a situation they have to make a decision. They came in this year, went out and signed a bunch of guys. It appeared that they were going to have some thunder and lightning in that lineup. It just didn't work out that way. Canseco went down. Then Castilla, who's never been on the DL, he went down. There were injuries to Wilson Alvarez. Everything else, a huge payroll.
Whole bunch of things went wrong. They also lost Juan Guzman. And they were expecting these guys to step up and be the heart of their pitching staff, and let alone they thought their pitching has actually done a very good job on the year. And they come in with that 4.89 ERA. That is good enough for 6th in the American League. And the bullpen has just been very, very solid. They have, for quite a while, been shutting down opposing teams.
Now Soraka will back it down. 1-3-0 for the Sox. 0-1-0 for Tampa Bay. Just off the corner. Good try. Big gap in right center field as Chris well over towards Carlos Lee and left.
Rays actually having the best ERA in the American League since June 1st. 4.23.
Well, like the Tigers, Devil Rays got off to that horrible start. Somebody was telling me down at Tampa Bay, if you took out April and the first part of May, since that point, that they would have been right at contending for the lead in the East. Way outside. Nice pick by Charles Johnson. So a full count to Steve Cox.
It's funny, we talk about those injuries to all the big boppers in the heart of Tampa Bay's lineup. But as you know, that's part of the game. Sometimes you avoid the big injuries and you can run through the whole season and walk away with a championship. Otherwise, you guys fall apart and you end up on the bottom.
Payoff pitch. Foul tip. Well, there's a word that goes along with that. It's called depth. We caught a big break last night. If you missed that ball game last evening, I mean, John Garland was smoked. We thought from up here it appeared that got him right in the elbow, but fortunately it was below it and got mostly meat in the forearm. That's about as according to the scoreboard. Now it's 3-2, they say. I thought it was ball 4.
Well, going by the scoreboard, it was a full count.
Well, nobody was covering, so Jose is out there saying, hey, count was full.
Right now, they're trying to figure it out.
I think Harry Rothschild thought the count was full as well.
You know, that's the whole thing. Sometimes the scoreboard, everybody goes by it, and that's not what you have to go by. You have to go by the pitches that have actually taken place. So Jose and Ray both thought it was a full count, didn't bother covering, thinking it was ball 4, whereas actually it was only ball 3.
Well, Jose was covering, so it wasn't Ray. It was Jose. He just thought the count was full, as we did. And the payoff, academic. So Bobby Smith will pick up his second stolen base. First walk issued by Soroka. And here's the right fielder, Jose Guillen, hitting at .260, 8 homers. And he has driven home 36. He drew the collar last night in 4 at-bats.
And here's a guy that would really prefer not to face left-handers.
Out in front. What's he hitting against left-handers, Feisty?
164.
That's not bad.
164.
Is it a hard 164?
I bet it's not.
Well, you can be hitting 164 3 different ways. Holding steady, going up, or 164 and going down.
Well, he has he has 3 home runs and 9 RBIs versus lefties at 164. So his home runs are up versus lefties, but that's it.
21 to count. Well, that's a pretty hard 164.
Well, 3 out of 8 home runs. So basically, he's swinging for the fences when he gets that guy from the opposite side of the mound.
Hey, he's a very talented young man. As I mentioned, he's 24 years old. That's a great arm. Gets jammed right there, pops it up. Ray ambles over, reaches up, snares it, and that'll retire the side. And nothing across. They had a mile spread after an inning and a half. It's still 1-0 White Sox. Nothing Sox bottom of the second. We were talking about John Garland last night. He was once again outstanding. He had good stuff. Here's a good 93-mile-an-hour sinker. And then a slider right there on the inside corner ball. Now here's where McGriff, I mean, he just skulls. And we said at the time, DJ, if he got him on the elbow, there's a good chance it might be broken. But fortunately, it was on the forearm.
Yeah, he cut a break.
First pitch down low to Herbert Perry. Herbert at 294, 10 homers, and 41 driven in. Herbert 0 for 4 lifetime against Lopez. Albie out of Gilbert, Arizona. There's a strike. Right close to where you live. The feisty one.
Yes, it is. Right there.
2 balls and a strike.
Herbert, you know his name, his nickname? Gator.
There's a little fister. Bobby Smith back. Can't control his feet. And that'll be there's a gator snort right there.
Bobby Smith started back like he thought he had a chance. And really wasn't anywhere in the vicinity and did a belly flop. That's always entertaining. Herbert muscles that ball out of his kitchen out in the short center field. Always a beautiful thing when you go down and don't even have a play.
That's some love right there. So here is Carlos Lee hitting at .299, 21 homers, 78 RBIs. Takes first pitch strike. Carlos 2 for 3 last night with a homer. A lifetime against Lopez. Has faced him 6 times, has 3 hits. 2 of them have stayed in the park. Herbert just a decent lead. As the count 1-1. Sox 34-23 at home. On the road, the best record in Major League Baseball at 39-26. But since the All-Star break, Sox have been scuffling around. They are 18-17.
Carlos made himself an outstanding play last night, hustling to the left field line and going to run her out at second.
There's a one-hopper right to Johnson. Bobby Smith turns it over. So the second double play turned by the D-Rays. And it'll bring up Chris Singleton. Chris at .257, 9 homers, 52 ribbies. 2 for 2 last night with a 2-run homer. Right over the center field fence. Carlos had let it off with a double, trying to get him over the third. And he got him over. He got him in. As Lopez reaches back with that 94-mile-an-hour fastball and throws it right by him.
Chris tried to hook a pitch last night to get the job done, and it's kind of funny to see that ball just jump the way it did to straightaway center out of here.
A little looper into center field. Gerald Williams makes the catch, and that'll retire the side. We have finished 2, leading 1-0.
Sunday, Sammy and the Boys in Blues turn up the heat on Arizona. Cubs at D-backs, Sunday at 3:30 on WGN. Monday on the U, Fred McGriff goes swing for swing with our own OEO Maglio. Sox versus Devil Rays, Monday at 7 on Channel 26, the U.
Top of the 3rd inning as you peruse our Southwest Airlines tail of the tape. It'll be the 9th place hitter, Felix Martinez, to lead it off, followed by Gerald Williams and Russ Johnson. First pitch hit hard. Look at the nice pick by Jose. Yes.
Yeah, that all started right there by the good angle Jose took. He went back. Perfect direction. Reaches out, gloves it, gets in position, strong arm over. Running the money.
Well, you mentioned it was the route he took. That ball was hit hard. I think we ought to start thinking a little bit about getting away from first pitch fastball to Felix Martinez.
You think?
Gerald Williams grounded out. A little too hopper to Herbert. Flips that change up off the plate.
Last night, Martinez's first pitch hit a double into right center field.
There's a nice play by Herbert. Yes. Left side throwing some leather. 2 down.
Fully extended, 2 straight plays. Guys getting it done, reaching out far to their left. There you go, Herbert. There you go, Gator. Get up, throw him out. Third way. Yeah. Gator looking fleet of foot.
Russ Johnson popped up to Singleton. Takes first pitch fastball strike. Turns that one over. I don't like that.
Well, that's what I was told.
There's a solid base hit by Johnson.
And a reminder, visit the Majestic Athletic Hall of Fame gift shop on the main concourse and the gift shop on the upper deck level behind home plate on your next trip to Comiskey Park.
All right.
Gator is it. That was brought to me directly by a close personal source from inside the locker room.
Because he attended the University of Florida?
Yes. It's pretty simple.
Here's Vaughn, called out on a 3-2 fastball outside corner. Breaking ball, going inside. We talked about Vaughn last night, how guys who play with him just absolutely love this guy.
Ronnie's good people. Nice guy. Always played the game hard. As long as I've known, I've played against him through the minor leagues up to the big leagues. See, 50 home runs back in '98.
That'll work. 45, 99. It's a lot of home runs to be with 3 different ball clubs in 3 years.
Uh-huh. He's got some pop.
Pretty good try right there by Mike.
And not only does he have that kind of power, I mean, he hits monster bombs. There's one earlier in the year down in Tampa Bay that hit that ring at the top of the stadium. We couldn't figure out if it was a home run or in play.
He did not go, says Brian Runge. I think Mike wanted to pitch. I remember back in the early 90s. I don't know what year it was. We were playing at County Stadium. He came within about 2 rows of going all the way out of the ballpark in left center field. There's a strike on the corner. And the count goes full.
Up over those high bleachers in left center.
Oh, I'm telling you what, that was a bomb.
Well, there's only one guy that's actually gone over that bleacher. That big Cecil. Yeah, that's a big blast to hit a ball over those bleachers in Milwaukee.
Once again, the payoff. Fouls it straight back just underneath DJ.
I'm still waiting.
And what a momentous occasion that's going to be in your life when you get your first foul ball in the booth.
I just can't figure out how we have not had a ball come in the booth yet. I mean, come on. 1,000 balls hit right back our direction, always just missing us.
Well, this is the 123rd game. Yes, that's ball 4. I'm anxious to see how you react when you get it.
I'll tell you how I'm going to react. It's coming right at me. I'm diving under the desk. I just want to see if I still have those reflexes, though, and get it up this way.
Here's Fred McGriff. Popped up to Carlos Lee in left. Big gap in right center. Broken bat. Konerko sucks it up. He'll step on the bag, and that'll retire the side. Have another mile threat. Can't score after 2.5. Mike leads it by 1.
The White Sox are brought to you by Ward's Auto Express. For top brands and tires with top quality service performed by trained technicians at unbeatable prices, visit your local Ward's Auto Express.
Huge crowd on hand here at Comiskey Park for the second of this 4-game set. Bottom of the third, 1-0 Sox. It'll be Charles Johnson, Ray Durham, and Jose Valentin against Albie Lopez. There's a cutter to Hopper. Johnson. 1 pitch, 1 out. And we got some email, Feisty.
We do.
I love email. This one from Paula Frick, Lombard, Illinois. So I'm a huge White Sox fan. My question to you, first off, we get a lot of these like this. When a player leads off with a single and is picked off at first, and then the pitcher retires the next 2 batters, is that considered a 1-2-3 inning?
Well,
No.
I'd have to say no.
You're right. That is not considered. 1-2-3 inning is when all 3 batters are retired in succession. Reyes singled and scored. There's a little chopper right over the head. Martinez has got to hurry very quickly. Boy, he got rid of that ball in a hurry. Nice play, Felix. 2 down.
And a reminder about Family Half Price Mondays. It's every Monday home game. All tickets are half the regular price. Next Family Half Price Monday is August 21st when the White Sox take on the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at 7:05. For tickets, call 312-8311-SOX.
Quickly 2 out. Here's Jose. He had a bunt single. Takes fastball strike. Second part of Paula's email. What do you think about Sox acquiring Ken Hill? DJ?
Well, I'm hoping that it'll be nothing but a plus. Kenny, if his arm is right, is one of the toughest right-handed pitchers that I've ever faced. And if he can get some of that form back, it's going to be a big, big help for this team.
That little broken bat. Another duck snort. Yes. Jose with it. Bunt single. Duck snort. He's 2 for 2, and here comes Big Frank. And if you want to email us, we've got our system hooked up tonight to where as we can interact with some during the course of the ball game. So just email Hawk and DJ, Sox TV at chicagosports.com. That's Hawk and DJ, Sox TV at chicagosports.com. Here's Frank. Caught one off the end of the bat, fly to Steve Cox in left field. Jose, 14 for 15 in stolen bases.
Frank, the American League leader in home runs at 37, 1 above Carlos Delgado.
As he takes a strike. I enjoy it when we have our system hooked up there. We can get some email and interact. Some of the viewers.
Really?
Can't do it on the road, unfortunately. Maybe next year. Outfield straight up, spread out. And the count 1-1.
You get those emails during the game. It is like we're having a conversation right there.
Yeah, it's nice. Looking up the monitor.
That's right. You guys are on TV.
Going all over the country and a lot of different countries, as a matter of fact. That's one into left. Cox can't get there. Ball bounces away from him. They're going to wave him around. Here's a throw by Martinez. No. Good slide by Jose, and it's 2-0 White Sox. RBI number 112 for the Big Hurt.
That's an absolute missile by Frank, and Cox out in left field. His reaction was, I got to get back to it. But it was too late. It was already over his head. It was hit so hard. You don't have much reaction time out there on a bullet like this. Jose off to the races with 2 outs. And you're right. To finish this play off, it was an outstanding slide by Jose down and inside home plate.
Well, Cox did his thing. He got it to the cutoff man. Martinez with a very strong arm. With the fadeaway slide as Mag stands in. RBI single in the first. And that's going foul. We'll take another look. I love to watch a good relay play.
You said
Cox right to him.
Yeah.
Martinez got in good shape to make the throw. Just a little high off the mark.
You know, that was kind of tough right there for Flaherty. This ball crosses right behind Jose, and he loses a vision. He just had to try and make sure he caught it. You see Poppy right there, the bat boy out there trying to get the bat out of the way and give a little direction.
Oh, he'll help you. Poppy is great at that. Poppy Hidalgo. Just a bundle of energy. There he is. He didn't want any of his White Sox players getting hurt, having to contend with that bat. So Maggs, who picked up his 100th RBI, if you're just tuning in, with that base hit in the first, knocked in Durham. Oh, big gap in less than. Watch out.
That one just got away from Alvey, obviously. He's only hit one batter on the season. So he's shown pretty decent control.
Well, you and I both have always liked his arm, and now it appears that at the age of 28, somebody has gotten to him. Maybe Bill Fisher, the new pitching coach for Tampa Bay. Good rip by Maggs. Ooh, man, that thing had put it on the board, written all over. There's Fish. But he is pitching. Alvey Lopez is pitching, and that cutter he's come up with has just set everything else. That cutter. There's only one thing about it. It has sometimes with certain guys, it has a tendency to put a little strain on that elbow.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see what the long-term result is on Lopez's elbow, but now it's definitely helped him.
That's into center field. Williams going back, back, on the track at the fence, makes the catch, and that'll retire the side. But the RBI double by Frank Thomas. We'll go to the fourth, leading by 2.
Tampa Bay, number 20. Bobby.
Elvis night here at Comiskey Park. As the Sox lead at 2-0 going to the top of the 4th inning. Bobby Smith will lead it off. He'll be followed by John Flaherty and Steve Cox. Smith lined one into center field. And now another tough pop right there. Herbert makes it look easy.
Smith walking up there, swinging at the first pitch. Both at bats tonight. Quite a few guys going up there doing that. Usually when you're a younger player, you like to get off early on these big league pitchers.
Jay Mitchell, an expansion pick, coming over from Atlanta. So 1 pitch, 1 out, and here's the catcher, John Flaherty. He fouled out to Konerko. Minnesota has defeated Toronto 5-1 up at Skydome. And the count 2-0 to Flaherty. Top of the 8th in Detroit. 4-1 Tigers over the Athletics. There's a strike. Pull a string on him. Nice change. Had him way out in front.
Well, Mike seems to has regathered himself since that last start in Baltimore.
Yeah, as Jim Parquet did.
Yeah, each of those guys, one bad start, one good one.
Ate him up right there. Nice pitch. 2 down. Fourth ground ball to Herbert in this ball game. That'll bring up Cox. Here's another email. This one said, I'm 12 years old and my name is Chuck Gotch, and I'm a true Sox fan. I would like to ask you guys a question. When a pitcher throws over to first base, does it count on his pitch count for the game?
No. No, that's just use on his arm. Tell you what, Chuck, that's actually a good question because a lot of guys really fire the ball over to first base. They do it a whole bunch in the ball game. You're right. That does add up.
Well, you get some guys who, you know, almost become on the verge of paranoid when somebody can run a little bit. They might go over there hard, you know, 6 or 7 times. Good rip by Cox.
Well, when you were playing some first, I'm sure you had a couple of guys, especially right-handers, that would wheel and just fire it over to you. You had to look at him like, what are you doing?
Man. Diego Segui. There's a little chopper right side. Easy inning right there as Konerko's going to take it himself. So 2 to third, 1 to first. 1, 2, 3, and after 3.5, it's 2-0 good guys. Two 6-0 for the Sox, 2-0 for the D-Rays. Paul Konerko will lead it off here in the Sox 4th. Ball 0 for 1. Takes a strike on the inside corner. Says Lance Barksdale. Count evens at 1. Here's another email. This one from Jay the Sox Maniac Palmer, formerly of Crystal Lake, now resides in Denver. Paul steps out, says, Hawk and Feisty with the end of the 1900s, maybe now the curse of the 1919 Black Sox scandal will finally be put to rest as that pitch fouled off. This team is really special, and despite their recent return to earth, they just never say die. What really scares me is that for years I have said and promised that I will quit smoking and remarry the day the White Sox win the World Series. That'd be one hell of a price to pay, but it'd be worth it. At least I could die a happy man if the Sox won a World Championship all the way in Y2K. Jay the Sox Maniac Palmer, formerly of Crystal Lake.
Well,
I love emails like that.
That is a big commitment right there.
Quit smoking and remarry.
That's probably what they would say. You got to quit smoking nowadays. As Paulie waves at that big curveball from Lopez. Yeah. Nowadays, a lot of people don't want somebody that smokes.
That's for sure.
Paulie goes way out of the strike zone on that breaking ball. He's been fooled. You talked about earlier how he's been off. When Paulie's on, he'll see that ball as soon as it leaves the pitcher's hand and not even offer at it.
Herbert gets jammed, fouls it back. Here comes Flaherty, and it's going to be on the screen. Herbert. That little gator snort, little duck snort in the center field.
Here's a reminder that Monday, August 21st, that's this Monday, the first 10,000 fans of the ballpark will receive a lanyard courtesy of the United States Army. For tickets, call 312-8311-SOX.
Gets jammed again. Marty Smith. 2 out. Here's one for DJ.
Uh-oh.
Gilbert McGarity. Jonesboro, Arkansas says, DJ, my little girl is 7 years old and thinks you're just a hunk.
Okay.
Her name is Ruiz. Would you please say hi to her?
Hello, Ruiz. How are you doing? Hope you're watching the game and enjoying the Sox ahead 2-0 here.
There's a shot by Carlos Fowl. He also goes on to say, I would like to know what it was like to play baseball for both sides of Chicago.
Well, I was very fortunate to start my career in the big leagues with the Chicago Cubs, and I enjoyed it, and always have a very special place, because the first place you play in the big leagues, you always remember, and I was fortunate enough to end my career right here with the White Sox.
There's an exploding bat. Watch out, Russ. He's got time. Takes it, makes it. Oh, quick 1-2-3 inning for Albie Lopez. We'll go to the 5th, leading by 2. Jose Guillen will lead it off for the D-Rays here in the top of the 5th inning. It'll be Guillen, Martinez, and Williams to face Soroka. Guillen popped up to Durham. Takes a curveball, no. Just off the corner, 2-0. Oakland trying to come back in that Tiger game. Detroit hitting in the bottom of the 8th. It is now 4-3 Tigers. And the count 3-0 to Guillen. Come on back and get it. No walks, Mike.
Well, so far, Mike had himself 2 1-2-3 innings, and 2 innings where he's given up a single and a base on ball.
There's one right there.
Had himself pretty balanced for the evening.
Fouls that one away. So a full count to the right fielder. In that open stance. Ball hit hard. Herbert can't get that one. That's just a bullet. So the leadoff single by Guillen. He is 2 for 2 in stolen bases, and that'll bring up the shortstop, Felix Martinez. With the first pitch he saw, leading off the third very hard up the middle, and Valentin made a very fine play on it.
Guillen over at first base, like you said. 2 for 2 in stolen bases. Never really been a big thief of the bases.
First pitch strike.
He's got decent speed.
Well, the Rays have 72 as a team. Sox have 83. The Rays have been thrown out 32 times. The Sox 35.
Guillen, most stolen bases in a season is 3. In the big leagues. In the minor leagues, he stole 24 one season, but it's pretty much station to station.
Mike having trouble getting that curveball in.
Well, you know, even though he's having a little trouble with it, it's still much better than that last start.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't get anything over.
No. That was just a vulgar outing there. Change up high off the plate. And the count 2-1.
We talked about Jim Parquet down in Tampa Bay. Had one very similar. Couldn't get anything over the plate. And then the other day, JV. He couldn't get anything over the plate. Here's Jimmy. And he bounced back after that bad start and had a good outing.
Martinez fouls that pitch away to even the count at 2.
And so far tonight, Mike's bouncing back from his last outing. Next, it'll have to be JB.
Well, they were talking about JB with a dead arm. As we mentioned last evening, there's nothing unusual about that. For starters, they usually go through a couple dead arm periods throughout the course of the season, as they go through usually a couple throughout the course of spring training, if in fact they're working a lot. Another foul.
Well, James, other than that stint early on in the season where he took that line drive off the bat of Greg Vaughn off his chest, has been out there every 5th day. He missed a couple of starts from that. But rebounded and made the All-Star team for the first time.
Picked up a win. That's into right field. And shallow. Maggs playing imperfectly is there. 1 out.
And here's a reminder about Comiskey Park scoreboard messages. For a $30 donation to Chicago White Sox charities, it's perfect for birthdays, anniversaries, and special events. For an additional $15, fans may buy a color 8x10 photo of the message. For details, call 312-674-1000.
So here's Williams twice. He has gone out to Perry at third. Last time was a good play. There's a little soft grounder to Durham. Picks it up, throws him out. 2 away. So as Russ Johnson makes his way to the plate, let's pause for station identification.
This is America's #1 sports station, WGN, Chicago's WB.
Along with the feisty one, Darren Jackson. Ken Harrelson from Comiskey Park, second of this 4-game set. Sox took the opener last night 5-2 behind John Garland's 3rd victory of the season. And right here lead it 2-zip. 2-6-0 for the Sox, 0-3-0 for the D-Rays. Here's Johnson. Pop to center and single to center. Solidly. Takes down low. Tomorrow afternoon, it'll be Rocky Biddle against Dave Island. So make your plans to be with us here at Comiskey Park for your first place Chicago White Sox. There's a strike on the corner. On Monday evening in the finale of the series, there's the Rockmeister. Look at his first Major League victory in Baltimore. Pitched well. Parquet against Tanyan Sturts on Monday evening. That game tomorrow will be over Fox Sports Net. And on Monday evening, over WCIU Channel 26, in case you can't make it to the ballpark. Two and two.
Mike's been making pitches tonight, just like he's been trying to do all year, but not getting it done a lot of the times, especially after mistakes. A lot of unearned runs this season that he could not get it done after a mistake.
And tonight, as you mentioned, he's been making some good pitches with that fastball. Cracked a couple of bats, jammed some guys. Basically just a 2-pitch pitcher. Fastball and occasional change.
He's got that little cutter that he'll feature occasionally.
That's hit foul. Got in on Russ Johnson.
And that's it right there, that cutter that he features. Without that, I think he'd be in a lot of trouble because he cannot, as you mentioned, get that curveball over tonight. And usually that's a big pitch for him. That's really his strikeout pitch. One more strikeout for Mike, and he'll reach the century mark on the season.
And that's ball 4. Third walk issued by Soroka, so indeed a pattern. In the second, he gave up a hit and a walk. Third, he gave up a hit and a walk. And here in the fifth, a hit and a walk. As Greg Vaughn will come up to that dish. He has struck out, called out, and he is walked. Sox with 1 in the first. RBI single by Mags Ordonez. There's a strike. And 1 in the third. RBI double by Frank Thomas.
Mike, this season has definitely had control problems compared to the past. Last year he threw 209 innings and walked only 57 batters. This year he has 150 innings in, and he's walked 55.
There's the change.
So just 2 walks away from what he did all of last season.
Two on, 2 out. And there's a strike on the inside corner.
It's actually been one of Mike's keys to success over his big league career is not given very many free passes, usually under 3 a game.
And there's a shot. Jose controls, now over to Durham in time, and that'll retire the side. Ball hit hard by Vaughn. That's a hang whoop'em. And we're halfway home, leading 2-0.
There you see our score. Sox up 2-0. 6 hits to 3. Sox. There's Maglio. Let's take a moment. Look at our forward snapshot right here. Line drive, base hit in the left field for Maglio's 100th RBI. Second straight year Maglio has driven in at least 100. That away, Maglio.
Chris Singleton leads off the bottom of the 5th inning. Chris fly to his counterpart Gerald Williams. Albie Lopez, 6'2", 240 pounds. Takes that curveball low. That's outside and the count 2-0.
I'd like to see Chris get on base. He's been running it quite a bit more lately. Got himself 14 stolen bases now. Yeah, had 6 and caught 6 times. He's ran off straight stolen bases without being caught. Last season, Chris stole 20 bases and was only caught 5 times.
Two balls, 2 strikes. He just got a piece up.
There you see Charles Johnson just sitting there waiting, get his chance, hopefully with Chris on base.
There's a chopper. Bobby Smith sets. Low throw. Nice pick by Fred McGriff. And the lead man gone.
And Bobby Smith wanting to get rid of that ball very quickly because he knows Singleton can fly down the line. Freddie done a good job helping him out, picking the tough hop. A little bit in between. Freddie does a good job scooping him out of the dirt at first.
Charles Johnson takes downstairs. Well, check it, Bobby Smith. No, Bobby Smith just made the play. Charles Johnson reading this email here.
Yeah,
talking about Charles Johnson and Bobby Smith. That's how off the plate, and the count 2-0. C.J. grounded out to third base his first trip. That's downstairs. Turn him loose. Charles, 24 homers, 62 driven in. Final now from Detroit. Tigers beat the A's 4-3. And that's ball 4. So that's the first walk issued by Albie Lopez. And that'll bring up Ray Durham. Ray a single scored. Then he hit a little soft grounder to short over the head of Albie Lopez, but Felix Martinez came on and made a nice play to get it. Ray hitting at 283. He stands up to that plate. Goes through the fastball. That one at 93 from Lopez. And here's another email. This one from Kyle Lance from Juneau, Alaska. Watching up there. Hi, Kyle. Question is, If a run is scored and it is unearned, does the batter still get the RBI?
Yes.
Yep.
Whenever the hitter drives in that run as an RBI, it is definitely counted that way. It just doesn't hurt the pitcher if something happens.
There's that cutter by Lopez at 90. He has good movement on it. Cutter's only 2 or 3 miles an hour off his fastball. There's another one from Mark Garon from Lockport. What do you guys think of the proposed 6-man rotation? Sox are talking about possibly implementing a 6-man rotation.
Well, right now, in my opinion, we got some guys out there lately with some tired arms, it appears. They've gotten to be a little wild. They might be able to use the extra day's rest. What do you think?
Same, ditto. There's a grounder fair by McGriff. So CJ around second. He'll go into third on the double by Durham. And with 1 out, Sox cooking.
An 0-2 pitch from Albie Lopez that Ray takes advantage of. Obviously too good of a pitch to be 0-2, and he yanks it just inside that line. See, it didn't quite get down enough, stayed up over the plate. Freddie getting his secondary jump off of first, can't get back towards the line to make the play.
So Valentin, the hitter. Corners in close. Second and third, they're back. Jose is 2 for 2. A little tardy on that fastball. That was at 95. Valentin with a bunt single. And a little duck snort. Elvis Knight here at the ballpark. That's off the corner. Come on, Hose. Need you right here.
Jose, 7 straight years, double figures in home runs. Two and 1. Started the season with 90 big league home runs. Now has 111. 21 on the season. I mentioned before his career high 24. Also career high in RBI is 95.
Broken bat. Charles Johnson got a late start, but he's going to come in. He's going to score. And it's 3-0 White Sox. RBI number 75 for Jose.
Get it done any way you can. That infield plays you back. All you got to do is put it on the ground and advance the runners, and that's what Jose does. He hooks it, shatters that bat. They were conceding the run, and we'll take it.
So here's Big Frank. 1 for 2. RBI double in the third. Takes that pitch inside. Well, if they had been playing Bobby Smith in, that would have been a base hit.
It was off to the side of him, yes. You got to give something up. Whether you play him in and give the angle away of making a play like that, set back, get the out.
Fastball right there. Turn that one loose at 95. So the move worked out for Harry Rothschild. 1 scored instead of 2. Much out.
Frank last time up hit that double with 2 outs. And Jose on first base. Sox doing an outstanding job driving in runs with 2 outs on the season. They're at 265 with runners in scoring position, 2 outs.
High pop up in the center. Bobby Smith called off by Gerald Williams, but 1 more crosses the plate. We'll go to the 6th, leading by 3.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by the authority of the Chicago White Sox and may not be reproduced nor retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago White Sox.
Jose Valentin's 75th ribby of the season makes it a 3-0 game as he knocked in Charles Johnson. Fred McGriff will lead it off here in the top of the 6th. Fred is popped to left, and he is grounded to first. Squadron planes, I'll tell you, the air show and the water show. Here in Chicago today, they were expecting 2 million people at North Beach. Blue Angels, I love the Blue Angels.
Oh, yeah, they're exciting to watch.
Oh, they are. Big sweeping breaking ball misses. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I don't think Mike's throwing a curveball for a strike.
I don't think he has either for a cold strike. You got a view of that air and water show? No, you don't from your place, do you? You can't see him. You can see?
Sure.
Okay.
Right there on the lake. Right size, wrong shape.
You're there on the wrong side of that building. I've been there. I didn't know if you had that view looking back that direction.
They come right by there about, I'm on the 8th floor, just about that height. As he loses him. Oh, the dreaded leadoff walk. 4th base on balls issued by Mike. And here comes Bobby Smith. He is single. And he is grounded to 3rd. Outfield straight away for Bobby. Change up, 1-0. Mike having trouble finding that release point. Got to have plan B. Plan A is not working. Another change out in front. And yet, he's been able to make pitches when he had to. He's only given up 3 hits. Being a one-pitch, basically a one-pitch pitcher.
Well, that's a plan B, all right. He's getting it done with not his best stuff tonight. Like you say, that curveball, he's been having trouble getting it over, and that is his strikeout pitch. Earlier in the year, Mike had himself a big game where he struck out a career-high 10 against Milwaukee.
That's hit foul. Good pitch right there.
That breaker on that night was sharp and tight and big.
Well, almost everybody on our staff, their curveball is commensurate with their fastball. They have a good fastball. They have the good quick breaking curve. Baldwin, Sorotka, Parquet, Eldred, when he was out there, when he had his good fastball, boy, he had some kind of hook.
Well, hopefully we'll get Cal back for that stretch run down the season. He's been throwing the ball and coming around pretty well.
The ball, hit hard, get foul. It will, thank you very much. Just foul. Watch this one right here. There's a curveball. It's just a roller. He gets it up. That's what you call, for the most part, a hanger.
Now, luckily, it was just slow enough where Bobby Smith was a little too quick. As Bobby Smith got that little open stance and toe tap. A lot more guys going for that nowadays. Little toe tap like Sammy Sosa. Rafael Palmeiro has always done that.
Close, didn't get it. 2-2. You
ever try that toe tap when you were playing?
No. He's gone. Good movement right there on that fastball, turned it over. Second strikeout for Mike. One down.
You're right. This one here has some good life on it. Dives down in the way, and he had something on it. Robbie Smith was not expecting it away. You see him just reach out there at the last second and try and get a piece of it. His body was committed another direction.
Well, here's Flaherty. It's fouled out to Konerko and grounded to Perry. Turns that one over. I get a lot of emails talking about what do you mean when you say he turned it over. That's hit high into left field. Carlos got the B. 2 down. When we talk about turning it over, Mike being left-handed, what I mean, if you just put your fingers on top of a baseball right in front of you right now with your left hand, and then when he releases it, that right index finger goes down towards his right foot. That's what we're talking about, turning it over. And that ball has a tendency, if you don't try to overthrow it, it'll go down and away to the right-handed hitter. As Steve Cox stands in, fouls that one away. Now the cutter, the way the guys throw the cutter is just the reverse. This time put your right hand on top of the baseball right in front of you. And then when they release it, the middle finger is the one that has a little pressure there and also puts a little more pressure on your elbow. One and one the count. So let's see. If you're right-handed, it's the right index finger that goes down first to turn it over, and the cutter, it's the middle finger that goes down first. Get the cut action on it. 2-1.
Well, I don't think that can be explained any better than that, Hawk. That was outstanding. Good commentary.
It was. 3-1 to count. Jose Guillen on deck. And that's ball 4. That's the 97th pitch that Soroka has run up there in 5 2/3. So the leadoff walk to McGriff. He strikes out Smith. Gets Flaherty to pop up to left. And now the base on balls to Cox. This is just a battling effort and process out there for Soroka.
Well, 2 straight starts now that he's given up 5 base on balls. I mentioned earlier that coming into this season, he'd only averaged just fewer than 3 over 9 innings.
So Nardi Contreras has his little chit-chat while he goes back. Here's another email that says, Hawk and DJ, since it's Elvis Day, would you wish my hunka burning love, my wife Chris, a happy birthday? Thanks, and go Sox. Happy birthday, Chris.
Happy birthday, hunka. Burning love.
All these emails that we have right now coming in during the ball game. As here's Guillen. Popped to second and singled hard in the hole between third and short. That's into center field. Singleton is there. He'll haul that one in, and that'll retire the side. So the D-Rays fan, a couple of more. They have left 8 in this ball game, and after 5.5, it's 3-0 White Sox. There's a future feisty.
You better believe it.
Breaking ball. Going away to Mags. 3-7-0 for the Sox, 0-3-0 for Tampa Bay here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Mags 1 for 2, an RBI single, his 100th ribby. And then in the 3rd inning, Gerald Williams right up against the fence. Pops him up. Felix Martinez now being called off by Cox, who drops the ball, and Mags into second.
Well, you could just see that coming. Martinez was standing there in position to make the play. Steve Cox running in a lot harder. See, Martinez is waving his arms. I've got it. He gets out of the way like he's supposed to. And the wind here can definitely make you look bad if you're an outfielder and you're not set up under the ball. He turned that glove to the backhand side and made that a very, very difficult play on the run.
So he picks up his 4th error of the season, and here's Konerko. Paulie 0 for 2 tonight. Paul looking for his first hit in the series. He was 0 for 4 last evening. Takes first pitch strike. Fouls that one away. Oh, 0-2 the count. Well, he's really scuffling. Well, we have an email here talking about what do you do with a young hitter like Konerko when he's struggling? Is there anything you can do to get him out of it? Well, what you have to do is go right back to the rudiments of hitting, the ABCs. Hit the ball to the right side, stay inside it. He's going to get the job done. Smith over to McGriff, and that's 1 out. And while we have a moment, let's check out what's coming your way over WGN.
Take a look at life in a small Texas town during the 1950s. Jeff Bridges and Sybil Shepherd, The Last Picture Show. Tonight at 10:30 on WGN, Chicago's WB.
So you see JB and Konerko's teammates coming over. They know he's been scuffling, and that was a good at bat for him to get the job done, moving Mags into 3rd, so the D-Rays now bring the infield in. And Herbert Perry is 1 for 2. Ball hit hard by Smith. Mags will score. The unearned run crosses home plate, and it's 4-0 Sox.
Herbert just walks up there, first pitch whack, and hits a bullet right under the glove of Smith. And you can see he was intent on just hitting the ball hard somewhere down through that pitch. Yeah, Herbert getting the job done, following up Paulie, and that makes Paulie feel good that he did not waste it. He did just sacrifice himself, got him over, and Herbert got him in.
So here's Carlos. Well, when one of your teammates like Konerko is struggling like he is, well, when he does something like that, you want to make sure you get up, go over, and a good rip by Seeley right there, and try to give him a little love, you know.
That's exactly right, because Paulie on this team, everybody knows, will do whatever it takes to help them win. He's definitely a very intense baseball player also. He wants to succeed. When we talk about struggling, he's still got outstanding numbers. I mean, he's got 72 RBIs on the season. He's hitting close to 300. Last year, he had a great year. He had 294, 24 home runs, and 81 RBIs. He's got a chance to surpass his RBI total and have a higher average.
That's flip foul, right side of the play, and the count 0-2. Come on, Carlos. Good two-strike hitter.
So it's funny when you and I talk about Paulie struggling, we're talking about from the sense that we have seen him working so hard every day trying to just get it done, whereas it was just a lot simpler for him last year.
With a shortstop, Smith turns it over. Third double play turn by Tampa Bay, but the Sox put another point on that board. We'll go to the 7th, leading by 4. We're into the top of the 7th inning. 4-8-0 for the Sox, 0-3-1 for Tampa Bay. And a pitching change. DJ coming on for Mike Soroka, Bill Seamus.
Yes, there's Bill coming on there. Let's check out his numbers. He's 2-2. It's 3.53 ERA, 0 saves, and 53rd game on. 58 2/3, 60 hits, only 8 home runs, 19 base on balls. That's good. And 43 strikeouts. Billy's been doing an outstanding job all season long.
So Miguel Cairo comes out, takes first pitch strike. Hitting for Martinez, who was 0 for 2. Watch out inside. Cairo hitting a 275 with a homer. That was a 3-run shot off Pedro. A few days ago with Fenway. The count 1-2.
Cairo is 5th in the American League in stolen bases with 25. And they'll keep him off those bases.
Outfield playing in very short as he's gone, and that's out number 1. So a battling effort for Mike Soroka tonight. Mike just went out there, couldn't throw his breaking ball for a strike, turned it over, changed speeds, made some good pitches when he had to. He threw an even 100 pitches in 6 innings. No runs on 3 hits, 5 walks, and had 2 strikeouts. So here's Gerald Williams. Takes ball 1.
Well, Mike did an outstanding job because we've seen him with much better stuff, yet he walks away only giving up 3 hits and no runs. He was doing what you call some pitching out there today, or tonight.
Yeah, he was. That's just a good, gutsy, battling effort.
Like you said, you got to have a plan B.
Yeah, he had plan B. He just sucked it up and made a good pitch when he had to. Strike on the corner. Williams didn't like it. That evens the count at 2. Pops him up, right side. Maglio. Can of corn, 2 down.
And a reminder to visit the arcade section at WhiteSox.com. Check out the newest cool games, Triple Play Trivia, Cyber Skipper, and the Degrees of the White Sox. That's at WhiteSox.com.
So here's Russ Johnson. He's 1 for 2, a single and a walk. Here's another email. Listen from Jim Merwin, Hudson, Ohio. Says, do switch hitters ever use different bats depending on whether they're hitting right-handed or left-handed? And the answer is yes, they do a lot. And also the second part says, Hawk, I thought I'd tell you my baseball glove as a kid was a Ken Hawk Harrelson model. Don't remember who made it, though. Do you recall? I certainly do. U.S. Steel.
Yours is made of steel? I thought it was platinum.
Titanium. That's fouled out of play. No, it's McGregor.
How many games do you play at first base?
I don't know. I have no clue. A lot.
Equal to outfield?
Probably, I don't know, 50-50. Good pitch by Billy. Ate him up inside. Ray is there, so Seamus comes on, has a quick 1-2-3 inning. 7th inning stretch. Good guys by 4. Right now it's time to check out our Miller Lite Major League scoreboard. There you see the Indians over the Mariners. 10-7 at Jacobs Field. The Yankees bumped the Angels 9-1 in the Bronx. Pedro and the Red Sox over the Wranglers 9-0 at Fenway. 5-1 Twinkies over the Blue Jays at Skydome. 4-3 Tigers over the A's. Kansas City leading Baltimore 4-0 in the 6th. Over in the National League, Cincinnati over the Pirates 7-1 at Synergy Field. 4-1 Dodgers over the Mets. 12-3. Giants 2 days in a row have beaten the Braves at Pac Bell Park. Milwaukee leading Houston 3-0 after 2. 2-0 Rockies over the Fish. That's after 2. Later on, Philadelphia at St. Louis. Montreal at San Diego. And the D-backs hosting the Cubs at Big Bob in Phoenix. Chris Singleton will lead it off against Albie Lopez here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Fouls that first pitch fastball back. I want to send out a big White Sox solo and congratulations to a lifelong Sox fan, Commander Harry Tennant. 34 years with the Chicago Police Department from his brother Mike. Congratulations, Harry. And hopefully this season, being a lifelong Sox fan, some of your hopes and dreams will come to fruition. Back to the middle in the center field. Goes Singleton. 1 for 3. More importantly, the leadoff man aboard.
And we mentioned he's lately been running quite a bit more. So if he gets a good jump, he'll be off.
There you see Miguel Cairo moves into second base. Bobby Smith moves over to third. Russ Johnson moves into the shortstop. There goes Singleton. Good rip by C.J. just underneath.
Just a decent jump by Chris, but with that speed, you never know. And make up for it quickly. But C.J. had a good pitch to whack at, so he didn't want to waste it. Chris would have had to make up for a slow start there.
Four 9-0 for the Sox. 0-3-1 for the D-Rays. Long set by Lopez. Pitch inside.
I mentioned earlier, Singleton's right now on a streak of 8 straight stolen bases.
There he goes. There's a throw low. And not in time. So Chris now with 15.
Chris got much better jump that time around. It also helps that Flaherty didn't make the good throw down there. See here, that time he's off from the get-go. Much better reaction. And that head first slide. Grabbing the outside of the base, giving the fielder less chance to put that tag on him if he catches it.
Outfield slightly to the left. And there's a one-hopper. Johnson handles it off the chest. Over to first base, 1 out.
Here's a reminder about the Ticketmaster sweepstakes. It's July 13th through August 24th. When you purchase White Sox tickets by phone or online using American Express, you are qualified to win a trip for 2 to spring training in Tucson, Arizona. For tickets, call 312-8311-SOX or visit whitesox.com.
So here's Ray. 2 for 3, a single, a double. He also has scored a run. Gap in right center. On the outside corner, says Lance Barksdale. Sox with singletons in the first, third, fifth, and sixth innings. Pretty good rip by Ray. Meanwhile, 0-2. Oh, Ray, good two-strike hitter.
I mentioned earlier that Ray coming doing a much better job lately going up the middle and to left field. Sometimes he forgets that he's got good power to left center field and straightaway center, so he tries to hook the ball, starts making a lot more outs. Last few games, he used the whole field, got a lot more hits.
Little chopper. Lopez has got it. Guns over to McGriff in time. Two out to Jose Valentin.
Nice job by Albie Lopez. Big man getting off that mound quickly, fielding it very nicely, and then with a perfect throw over to Freddie at first. Chris was coming hard in the third base too, and waving Wally over there. Had him coming until he saw the play was made and then held him up late.
So Jose is 2 for 3. Picked up his 75th RBI in the fifth. Takes it inside. Runs that one well off the plate.
He's down this season hitting .283. Men in scoring position and 2 outs. The Sox have just really risen their concentration level when guys are on base with 2 outs.
On the corner. They have been absolutely awesome with 2 out run production. Three and one.
Well, we mentioned Frank with that double, driving in Jose early in the ball game with 2 outs. We talk about how we're doing with guys in scoring position. Well, Jose was on first. He wasn't in scoring position. We've done that a whole bunch. Average was actually just with 2 outs. Guys driving themselves anything good.
And that's ball 4. So good speed at first, good speed at third. And here comes Big Frank. Mitchell. Jose 14 for 15 in stolen bases.
35.
Larry Rothschild.
Frank
Letting him
Thomas.
know what he wants to be done.
Well, you'd think with Frank coming up there that Jose might not be running here with 2 outs, but there's a hitter like Maglio Ordonez on deck. You go ahead and steal that base, and if they want to walk Frank, they have to take their chance with Maglio. It doesn't get any easier.
Huge gap out there in left center field as that pitch misses. Well, it boils down to one thing. Would you rather see Frank hitting with 2 out runners at the corners or Mags hitting with the bases loaded 2 out?
Well, that's only if Jose were to take off and steal the base, if they might think about it.
I'd rather have the bases loaded anytime with Mags. Frank.
He really pulled those arms in to snap that helmet through real quickly on that ball.
Looked like he was trying to hit a rope hook around a tree.
Yeah, I can work that shot. Not intentionally, but I can work it.
Yeah. Jose, pretty good lead. And the count moves to 2-1. That was 97 miles an hour.
Yeah, last couple times Frank's been up there, he's reached back for a little extra.
Albie Lopez certainly has an outstanding arm.
That extra 2 miles an hour is a lot when it's in the 90s.
That would have 88. Frank couldn't pull the trigger. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, 2 on here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the 6'8" right-hander Billy Taylor once again starts to loosen it. Jose might give it a shot now. No. That ball hit hard. Get up. Get up. It will. You can put it on the board.
Yes!
3-run blast by the Big Hurt. And it's 7-0 Sox. You could have hung out all the drawers in Cook County on that one.
There you see Larry Rothschild going out and calling to the bullpen to bring in Billy Taylor. And just 1 pitch too late. Frank all over this. Fastball down on the inside corner. Watch Frank just drop the helmet right down on that. And when Frank gets that body in position like that, forget about it. Another line drive. Last time it was over the left fielder's head. This time over the fence.
Frank now with 38 long ones, 115 driven in, and we'll be back. The Big Hurt, Frank Thomas, just absolutely kissed one. A vicious line drive over the left field fence for his 38th homer. As we mentioned, 115 RBIs, and coming on for the D-Rays, 38-year-old right-hander, 6'8", 235 pounds, out of Thomasville, Georgia. Billy Taylor, as that jet just went, he had the afterburners on. What's he going to feature, Feisty?
Billy Taylor, he's out there with a big sinker, slider, and a curveball. He, 3-quarter pitcher and really makes it hard on right-handed hitters.
That got my attention right there.
More than that, I noticed.
So here's Maggs. Maggs 1 for 3, an RBI, a run scored. Big wave at the breaking pitch.
Yeah, as that flyby just happened, I saw the hair on the back of your neck stand up.
Yeah. Drops down. 1-1 to count. 7-10-0 for the Sox. 0-3-1 for the Devil Rays. Elvis Knight here at the ballpark, if you're just tuning in. Two and 1.
Billy Taylor was an outstanding closer for quite a while in Oakland. Did a good job. Had himself 23 saves one year, 33 after that, 26. He picked up right after Dennis Eckersley retired. He stepped into that role.
Tough shoes to fill, and he filled them admirably. Here's the 3-1.
Well, Billy, well known for the long amount of time that he spent in the minor leagues before making it to the big leagues. He spent 13 years.
Wow. Checks it up. So the 2-out walk to Maggs, and here comes Konerko. Paulie 0 for 3 last time up, got the job done. Maggs reached an error by Steve Cox, running to second base. Paul got him over third. And he scored on the drawn-in infield single by Bobby Smith. Well, the point you brought up about Albie Lopez at the top, Darren, turned out to be a little prophetic. He was trying for his 3rd straight complete game. He had good stuff. I mean, there's no question about that. He was throwing. He got up to 97, a couple of fastballs to Big Frank. But his control was just not as sharp as it was the last time out against us.
You know, he wasn't pitching as well as he did down in Tampa Bay. He was throwing a lot harder today, but a little less movement.
Paulie out in front, chops that one foul. That's a good assessment. You're right. He was throwing more than he was pitching tonight. Boy, that's the best we've ever seen him look that last outing down the Tropicana Field against us.
Well, he may have given up 7 runs tonight, but he still looked as good as we've seen him look other than that start down in Tampa Bay.
Yeah.
But you had mentioned, you and me, we were talking before the game about how difficult it is. Probably 16th start of the season. I mean, he pitched a lot out of the bullpen, and it's a lot of work on an arm trying to complete all these games.
Two balls and a strike. Oh, Paulie, get yourself a knock. Two and two. The Sox trying to pick up their 74th victory of the season and maintain a 9-game lead over Cleveland, who beat Seattle 10-4 at Jacobs Field. Breaking ball close, didn't get it.
Albie Lopez with those 4 complete games on the season. I mean, the White Sox as a team have 5. Lopez was starting this game tonight with the intent to try and catch the whole staff of the White Sox in complete games.
That pitch fouled away. Well, Atlanta got beat 12-3 by the Giants out of Pac-Bell Park, so if the Sox can win this ball game, Atlanta and the Sox will be the only 2 teams with 74 victories. The Mets were beaten 4-1 by the Dodgers. The Mets have a 73 win. Nobody else. Seattle close at 69. St. Louis 67. Now the Giants, the Giants won today, so they have 70 wins. Ball hit hard. Right at Bobby Smith. Over to Fred McGriff, and that'll do it. But the Sox do a little damage here. Big 3-run homer by the Big Hurt. We'll go to the 8th leading 7-0.
This portion of White Sox baseball on WGN is brought to you by ChicagoSports.com. Try to keep up.
Right now, let's take a look at our Toyota game summary. The Devil Rays 0-3-1, Sox 7-10-0. Albie Lopez 6 2/3, 10 hits, 6 earned runs, 7 total though. Chicago, Thomas 38th home run in the 7th, his 115th RBIs. Mike Soroka 6 innings, 3 hits, 0 runs, and he battled through this evening on Plan B.
Didn't he? Always good when a plan comes together. Kelly Wunsch comes on for Bill Seamus. Billy had a 1-2-3-7. He will face Vaughn, McGriff, and Smith as we look at the numbers on Kelly. 64th timeout on that hill. 40 hits, 46 2/3, 44 strikeouts, 19 walks. So here's Vaughn, who struck out, walked, and hit into a 6-4 fielder's choice. That was a hard hit ball. First pitch strike on the outside.
I mentioned Kelly's 64th time on. That's leading the American League by 4 games. His most appearances.
Change up, big motion right there, and the count 0-2. 38,926 in attendance. Ground ball. Free hopper. Jose.
Here's a reminder that Sunday, September 3rd, the first 15,000 fans to the ballpark will receive a White Sox 100th year pennant, courtesy of Coca-Cola. For tickets, call 312-8311 Sox.
Here's McGriff. Ready 0 for 2 with a walk. Takes ball 1. Two and 0.
Freddie, pretty familiar now with Kelly Wunsch. He came in and faced Freddie 3 straight games in Tampa. Freddie was 0 for 2. He did draw a walk.
That shift on. And that pitch fouled away. So the count evens at 2.
Kelly, I tell you, for a first time ever playing in the big leagues rookie before this season, I mean, he has just come on and looked like he's belonged, and he's been here for a long time.
Way outside. Yes, he has. His mound presence. This way he goes about his business. Very impressive. And that's tough foul. Well, Kelly is the undisputed crossword champion on the Sox. He works them continuously. Right at Durham, the 2-hopper. And that's out number 2.
Kelly ever come to you for some help on them crosswords since you used to be the master crossword man?
Oh, we discuss him occasionally. But he is, he's good. I mean, he works, he's got these, I think he gets them off the internet, these New York Times Sunday crosswords. That's all he works. Here's Bobby Smith. He's 1 for 3. First pitch strike, fastball. There you go. Some gorgeous. Now, time is called. 8th sellout of the season tonight. 1-1. Tell you one thing, big crowds come up. A little light goes on in the heads of all the Sox players. They really play well. There's a strike. And the count 1-2.
Yeah, the Sox have definitely enjoyed playing in front of the larger crowds. Right now, there's a ground ball to Ray. Easy play. And that is going to close out the inning. So Kelly Wunsch with the 1-2-3 inning, and we'll be back.
Right now, let's check out our White Sox schedule. Brought to you by Pepsi AC. There you see tomorrow, 105. It'll be Rocky Biddle against Dave Island. That game will be over Fox Sports Net. Monday evening, 7 o'clock. That game will be over WCIU, Channel 26. And the Orioles come in Wednesday and Thursday for that brief 2-game set. First one on Fox, and Thursday in the afternoon right here over WGN Sports. Big Cal talking to the Rockmeister. Rocky Biddle, as Esteban Yan come on for Billy Taylor, hard-throwing right-hander. He will face Perry, Lee, and Singleton. There are the numbers on Stevie Yan. 96 strikeouts. Herbert 2 for 3 with an RBI as he takes the off-speed pitch. 1-0. Still a rain delay in St. Louis, where they're hosting the Phillies. Cincinnati has won their game 7-1. In fact, if you're just tuning in, we'll go over the scores for you. American League, Cleveland 10, Seattle 4. Yankees thumped the Angels 9-1 in the box. Boston shuts out Texas 9-0. Pedro, I believe, went 7 innings in that ball game. 5-1 Minnesota over Toronto. Detroit beat Oakland 4-3. There's a fastball strike, and the count 1-2. Top of the 7th in Baltimore. 6-0 Kansas City. Dodgers beat the Mets 4-1. Giants brought it right to the Braves 12-3 at Pac Bell Park. As Herbert's gone for out number 1.
And here's a reminder, the White Sox are playing to win and to help others. Every time the White Sox turn a double play, Van Kampen Funds Incorporated will donate $100 to Chicago White Sox charities. Van Kampen Funds Incorporated and Chicago White Sox teaming up for a good cause.
Here's Carlos. Carlos 0 for 3. Big gap in left center. First pitch strike. Very quickly 0-2.
We got an email.
You did.
Oh, yeah. From Art Arundel. And it says, according to Baseball Encyclopedia, Hawk played 469 games at first base and 365 games in the outfield. So that's an answer to my question earlier, and had a .990 fielding percentage. Not bad. Playing the safety, were you?
I told you, I played on the track, man. Played deep at first and deep and right.
.990, that's getting it done.
Carlos just did get a piece of it.
I don't care where you're playing. You walk away with a .990 career fielding percentage. That is good.
All the activity for the Sox down in the pen. Ball got away down there. Steve Cox has to go over and retrieve it.
So you're right. You were pretty close there, Hog. You said 50-50. Just a 100-game difference, 104-game difference in the outfield at first.
Little chopper. Jan's got him. Throws him out. 2 gone. So here's Chris Singleton. Chris 1 for 3. But it was a biggie. Started off that 3-run 7th. Single. Picked up his 15th stolen base. Scored ahead of the 3-run homer by the Big Hurt. Strike. 7-10-0 for the Sox. 0-3-1 for Tampa Bay. Well, the Sox have played. This is the... There's a base hit. That a boy, Chris. Oh, Chris, 2 for 2 last night with a homer, 2 RBIs, 2 for 4 tonight. What was that stat you were telling me about the big crowds, the Sox?
Well, and let's see here. 20 crowds of 30,000 plus.
Counting tonight or not?
Not counting tonight. Sox came in winning 15 and losing 5.
So 16-5 if they can hold on and close this one out. 16-5 with 30,000 plus crowds.
What does that tell you, Huck?
That'll work. Tells me they got a lot of showmanship in them. They like to get out there and show their wares. They get their light turned on. As CJ takes that pitch downstairs, 2-0. I'll tell you, that's the way that Oakland club was.
Well, you know,
they won 5 consecutive division titles, 3 consecutive world championships. Boy, you put them in front of a big crowd, and I want to tell you what, they played their booties off.
Well, so many good teams rise to the occasion. You put them in front of that energy and that crowd noise, and all of a sudden it just brings you right up to their level, and you just refuse to give up. You just dig in and keep going, and that's what's happened with the Sox every time. When we've had big crowds, they've really dug in.
There's a strike, and the count's 3-1. Well, I really believe that's one of the big things. You know, if you look at the Red Sox ball club, sure, they got a great player in Garcia Parra, and they got the best pitcher in the game in Pedro. But outside of that, I believe that's one of the big reasons that they have for the last few years, and actually for a while, been able to be competitive, because every time they walk out there, there's between 30 and 35,000 people, their arms wide open, saying, hey guys, we love you. That'll turn your clock.
Yeah, that's a definite motivator.
Ball hit hard. Cairo's got him, and it'll retire the side. We'll go to the ninth, leading by 7.
The White Sox on WGN are brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Log on for Southwest Airlines low fares at www.southwest.com, a symbol of e-freedom.
Our Southwest Airlines tail of the tape. Was some gutsy pitching by Mike Soroka through 6 innings. Then Billy Seamus with a 1-2-3-7. Kelly Wunsch with a 1-2-3-8. Sox lead at 7-0 in the pitching change. Coming on for Wunsch will be the 22-year-old right-hander, Lorenzo Barcelo.
There you see those numbers on Lorenzo. He's actually done a very good job lately coming out of that pen. Very solid. 16 innings, 16 hits, only 3 base on balls. That's impressive for a big, hard thrower.
Well, that's the thing I think that's been the most impressive thing about Lorenzo. He throws strikes, and he looks like he is certainly not afraid to get after somebody out on that mound. He can run it up there, usually anywhere from 92 to 94. Got decent movement on it. And we've seen him a couple times out there, especially lately, when he's had a real quick slider.
You know, something about Lorenzo that I've noticed is it seems like he is going to be a little bit wild. He'll throw a ball off the plate, and maybe the hitters, by the way he's throwing the ball, think, oh, this guy can't throw strikes. And next thing you know, he's making pitch after pitch on him. They're a little surprised.
Well, John Flaherty will lead it off. It'll be Flaherty, Cox, and Guillen. Flaherty 0 for 3. Fouled out to Konerko, grounded to third. And he flied to Lee and left. Takes first pitch, strike. That one in 93. Just off the corner. Good try. Two and one. Bit of a gap in left center field. And that's fouled back. And once again, a reminder, make your plans to be with us tomorrow afternoon. Rocky Biddle against Dave Island. Can't make it tomorrow, make it Monday night. Jim Parquet against Tanyan Sturts. Sturts 3-0 with a double ray. That's into center field. That's a can of corn for Chris. Biddle charting the pitches and the hitters. Here's Steve Cox. 0 for 1 with a couple of walks. First pitch, strike. Most important pitch in the game.
I know it's Cox. Well, he takes the pitch and just stays right in that box. Like he's in the hurry-up offense in that batter's box. He never steps out.
Could not check it up right there.
Now he steps out to regroup. Take a swing like that. It's hard to stay in there.
Outside. Sox trying to pick up their 5th shutout of the season. Got him on the inside corner of beauty by Barcelo. 2 down.
Lorenzo starting it in and running it back to that corner. Steve Cox walking away saying, wow, he thought it was way inside. He gave up on it a little bit early. See where CJ is set up in there. And he throws it right to where CJ wanted it. Might have been a little off that corner, but just the pitcher's pitch.
Here's Guillen. He's 1 for 3. Hard single back in the 5th. Count evens at 1. Ground ball, this should do it. Jose, yes. So the Sox indeed pick up their 5th shutout of the season. As they win the first game last night, 5-2, they win this one 7-0. And we'll be back to wrap it up and more right after this. Well, there's the WGN Sports tail of the tape in Game 2 of this 4-game set, 7-11-0 for the Sox, 0-3-1. And now joining us down on the field is the outstanding pitching coach for the White Sox, Nardi Contreras. And Nardi, that was just a... First of all, let's get to Garland. How is John Garland?
Well, John Garland's doing pretty good. There was no bruise. Herm does a tremendous job on these contusions. He's able to straighten his arm out a little bit. I'm not sure exactly how quick we're going to bring him back, but I tell you what, it's a great day that there's nothing broke, nothing cracked, and I think in the next couple of days he's going to be able to toss.
Well, Nardi, he was outstanding in his last 2 efforts, and I mean, he's throwing that hard sinker that actually it's been the best stuff the last 2 times out we've seen from him.
Oh yes, he's been the thing about that Hawk, he's kept the ball down. I think against Seattle here, he was throwing the ball a little harder. He had some life, but he was up. He's very inconsistent, but these last 2 games that he's pitched against Tampa, he's been outstanding. Hard sink, he's mixing his changeup really good, his slider, and then his curveball is his 4th pitch.
How about the effort by Mike Soroka tonight? I don't know if he got a curveball call for a strike. He threw a couple over, and yet he just gutted it up, and when he had to make some big pitches, he changed speeds on his fastball, threw the changeup occasionally, basically just 2-pitch pitcher, but when he had to make a pitch, he did. Exactly.
Pretty much it's like a 3-pitch pitcher because he uses his sinker and his cutter, 2 different type of fastballs, but he had his changeup going. His curveball, you're right. I don't think he got a call tonight, but he kept on using it and let those hitters know that he still has it, but he was getting the people out with his sinker and his cutter most of the time.
Well, Nardi, you have done such an outstanding job with this staff, and all of a sudden, we're talking about a couple things, possibly going to a 6-man rotation, and then possibly going into the playoffs if we get there. Knock on wood, we go ahead and finish this thing off with a young pitching staff like this. How do you personally feel about this?
Well, I tell you what, the kids are working hard, and one thing about the kids, they all want to learn. It's not some kids coming in thinking they know everything about pitching, about hitters. They're in there learning, and they're learning situations and learning how to get people out, and they're gaining the experience. I think we've got the great arms here, and go with the great arms and guys that be able to throw strikes. That takes care of a lot of the problem. And the other thing is the stretch run. How are they going to do under pressure? And they're getting it. Sometimes we're on the edge of our seats as they go out and pitch, but the thing is, day in and day out, these guys are working hard. They're throwing strides, they're getting people out. Sometimes they scuffle, but I think if you look around the league, I think even the number 1s are scuffling these days. I think Wells, he hasn't gotten anybody out in the second half. Messina has been pitching poorly. So these guys are gaining experience. They're pitching well, and the thing about it, also, our team is so put together. I mean, they're all pulling for each other. They all want everybody to do well, and it's happening.
Nardi, this is DJ. I want to ask you a question. One thing I've noticed this season is you've made a whole bunch of trips out to the mound to talk to the pitchers when you've noticed something a little bit off. And,
right.
And one thing I noticed is that they've responded usually every time after you've gone out and talked to them. I mean, people are probably curious as what you're going out there and putting in their head they need to make the adjustment to.
Well, one thing is I've been blessed. It's been fortunate. You might be right. Every time I go out there, it seems like when I come back out, they make a pitch. And sometimes it's mechanical. Sometimes is of how we're going to pitch a guy, what location we're going to do, what's his weakness. It all varies, DJ. And so far, like I said, I've been very fortunate, and they've done the job for us. And a lot of times it's getting that ground ball to the player, getting that pop-up to get out of the inning. So it's been great.
Well, another big issue that's been in the media since the very first start of the season has been the defense and the errors that the Sox made. But, you talk to our pitching staff, and they'll tell you, hey, except for just a couple of times here lately, the errors that have been made by this ball club have been almost inconsequential. And one of the reasons being is because your pitchers have been pitching over a lot of mistakes.
Well, that's something we really stressed this past spring training, Hawk, because last 2 years we were very poor. Every time there was an error made, it seems like our pitchers dropped their head, and all of a sudden it became, instead of a 1-run inning, a 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-run inning. And we really stressed this year that the error is going to happen. but you've got to be the pitcher that goes out and be better than everybody else by making a pitch and pick up our defense, because they're going to make a lot of plays for us during the course of the season. And they've done really well at that, and we're very happy the way it's come about.
Well, Nardi, as much as we love you, we're not going to make you compete with Elvis out here tonight.
Okay.
Thanks for the time, big guy. Job well done. Nardi Contreras, the very fine pitching coach of the Sox. And we'll be back with more as the Elvis Singers are down on the field airing it out. Well, a whole bunch of Elvis Singers down there with Viva Las Vegas, but right now, I'm going to take you to a little piece. It was the month of June that really put the White Sox on the American League map this season. They started the month with the beginning of their 2000 Interleague schedule, then went on to play 14 games in a row against the Indians and the Yankees, proving to everyone in baseball that not only are they for real, but they are even better than the real thing. Ball game hit hard and deep in the left center field. Ward goes back at the fence, looks up, and you can put it on the ball. Yes! The 1-2 pitch. Curveball, he's gone. And that'll retire the side. There's a broken bat, base hit in the right field. Here comes Konerko. They got a shot. Here's a throw by Berkman. And they don't get him. What a slide by Konerko. Bichette goes back, looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes! That ball hit hard. State Fair. State Fair. Get up. It wins, and it's 3-0 Sox. Curveball. He's gone. He'll grab some bench, and Parkade pitches out of it. That ball hit deep. Way back. Steins looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes! A two-run bomb by the Big Hurt. Sox lead at 4-3. Way back. He's got the hat trick. The ball hit fair. Here comes Herbert Perry. He's going to score. And the Sox win it 6-5. Yes! Sox come in 2 games in front of the Tribe.
We have homered in 15 consecutive.
That ball hit deep. Sexton doesn't even move. Looks up. A 2-run bomb by the Big Hurt. That ball hit hard into center field. Lofton going back at the wall. He looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes! Ground ball. Throw him up with it. Valentin. Rack him up. And this ball game is over, DJ. I love you, man.
Konerko with a deep drive to left field. This could be.
Solo shot by Pauly. Decided to the outside. There's a ground ball hit it pretty hard. Knobloch with the throw takes him off the bag. Konerko scores, and the Sox lead 5-3 on the second error. Here's a biggie. There's a chopper. Here comes Singleton. He's going to score. What a jump by Chris Singleton. He got him. Right on the outside corner, he'll grab some bench, and Howery comes in and does the job. That ball hit deep, way back. The day looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes! A 3-run bomb off the bat of Mags, and the Sox lead it 6-0. There's a chopper. Gavinino with a nice pick. The pick, yes! And this ball game is over. So the Sox have now won the first 6 on this road trip. That ball hit hard into left center field. Nobody's going to get that one. That ball hit into the gap. Nobody's going to get this one. That's right back through the middle base hit. And it's a 5-0 Sox lead. I love cooking numbers. That ball hit deep in the right center field. Way back. You can put it on the board. Yes! A grand slam by Jose Valentin. And it's a 9-0 Sox lead here in the top of the first. Ball hit deep in the right center field. Lofton on his horse, back at the fence, looks up. You can put it on the ball. Yes! Murphy. Curveball, he's gone. Well, strikes out the side. That ball hit deep in the center field. Way back, Bunny Williams at the wall, looks up. You can put it on the board. Yes! Solo shot for El Caballo. And this game is tied at 3. The 1-1 pitch. There's a base hit. Valentin jumps up. Torres scores. And the Sox win it 4-3. Yes! Indeed, those young men play their fannies off, and we'll be back with more right after this. And right now, let's check out our Miller Genuine Draft play of the game. Coming in the 7th inning, 2 on, 2 out, and Big Frank at the plate. DJ.
Number 38 right there, line missile out of here. 3-run home run, brought his RBI total up to 115. And Frank is on his way to a serious campaign.
So some more 2-out damage. The Sox have just been almost incredible this season. And run production coming with men on base and 2 out as we check out the final totals. For the Sox, 7 runs, 11 hits, no errors. They stranded 5. For Tampa Bay, no runs. 5th shutout of the year for the Sox. Just 3 hits, 1 error. They left 8. Soroka, the winner, he is 11-10. Lopez takes a loss. He is 10-9. And you can see right there the 38th homer for the Big Hurt. So this was just a game, as we were talking with Nardi Contreras, the fine pitching coach for the Sox, DJ, in a situation that he just went out there tonight, did not have his curveball, and still, I'll tell you, the Steve Ray offense, they can put some numbers on the board, but he just shut them down.
Yeah, Mike made the adjustments. We talked about plan A and plan B, and Mike went to plan B tonight. He didn't get the curveball call for a strike at all. Nardi mentioned how he still used it just to show him that he had it. And he did have a couple of guys swing at him, but it was really that cutter he was jamming them with, a good changeup, and the fastball. So he used 3 different pitches, got it done, and Mike's good enough, and he's a veteran pitcher. He's been here long enough to know how to make those adjustments, and he looked pretty sharp, even though it wasn't his best.
And also not left unsaid is Max Ordonez with that RBI single in the 1st inning, picking up his 100th RBI of the season. And a big start for Rocky Biddle tomorrow. He's 1-1 and really has, even though he gave up 6 runs against the Mariners in 5 2/3, he threw the ball well then, and then he picked up his first victory in Baltimore.
Yeah, Rocky definitely looks sharp. 2 straight starts. Coming off that last win, tomorrow, 3 in a row would be beautiful to see.
All right, Sox win at 7-0. And a reminder, our next telecast of White Sox baseball will be Monday night when the Sox conclude this 4-game series against the Devil Rays. Our broadcast begins at 7 p.m. on WCIU TV, Channel 26. Also, tune in to WGN TV this Thursday when the White Sox take on the Baltimore Orioles from Comiskey Park. Join us at 1 p.m. for all the action. So for my partner, Darren Jackson, our director, Phil Moore, Skip Ellis, and our producer, John Walgren, this is the Hawk, Ken Harrelson. So long, everybody.
Chicago White Sox baseball on WGN has been brought to you by Miller Genuine Draft. Never miss a genuine opportunity. Your local Ford store, quality people, quality products. Your Toyota dealers, leading the way every day. And by Southwest Airlines. Log on for Southwest Airlines low fares at www.southwest.com, a symbol of e-freedom.